What's going on, everyone? It's Friday. It's Friday, the noon stream. Hope everyone's having themselves a wonderful day and a even better Friday because it is Friday. You gotta love a Friday. You gotta love when you got Giants talking. You gotta love when you got shit like Russell Wilson potentially going over to the Giants, and he had an informal meeting, I guess, yesterday with the New York Football Giants. Oh, it's funny though, because if someone like Russell Wilson decided to come to the Giants, I mean, I'm just throwing that up there. If someone, hey, what's up, Nick? If Russell Wilson just decided to go to the Giants, you know what? I wouldn't be crushed. If he sticks to his convictions where he said, I will go somewhere and I will take the veteran minimum to go to that location. Does that mean he's going to do it? Probably not. He's probably going to. Everyone's going to want more than a veteran minimum. That's just life. You could say it. It sounds great. You could potentially mean it, but at the end of the day, you're probably going to try to get it's a sport. It's a business. It's like anything else. You are going to try to get the most amount of money you potentially can. Chris goes, what's up, Tim? Everything's going good, Chris. So you're going to want to get the most amount of money that you could potentially get out of the Giants. If it was an exploratory conversation. Daryl says, yo, Tim, love the midday stream. I was bored. I got a lot of stuff going on at the house, but I was like, I got like an hour. I figured, why not jump on? Some people were like, well, I can't get to your streams because you got them at these weird times. Well, I got a family. So I wish I could do a stream at 10 o'clock at night, but, you got your kids, you got everything you got to do. And, I wish I could do it on different times, like the weekends and stuff, but you got stuff going on. OG Knockouts in the house. Senor Foul Play said, Senor Team, what's up? OG Knockout. We got Nick says no to Russ. I wouldn't say no to Russ. If you have to remember this, your quarterback room is this. An injured neck twice in 3 years and an ACL quarterback that you gave $160 million to who sucks. And Tommy DeVito, who didn't suck for 3 games, costed us the draft position that we needed or could have used to get a quarterback. But at the end of the day, that's your quarterback room. You have to hope that Daniel Jones, if he comes back, can play anywhere close to what he was in 2022. And he wasn't really that great in 2022. Russell, and I love it because everyone talks about the downfall of Russell Wilson, the downfall of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson didn't have that much of a downfall. Russell Wilson still put up numbers in Denver. I mean, he had the fallout with Sean Payton, but Sean Payton wants his own quarterback. I understand that. You have to look at it from that regards. You want to come into a situation. You don't want someone else's quarterback. But Russell Wilson in a bad season still threw for over 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, and completed 66% of his passes. Huh. That kind of sounds like a Daniel Jones season. I mean, but you also got a guy that threw for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, had 5 4,000 yard seasons, has averaged or thrown at least 20 touchdowns or more in every season except for 1. Is he at the downturn of his career? Hell yeah. But if he's truly looking to take the veteran minimum to go somewhere and have a chance to start, why not? You're not going to cost, Mm-hmm. It's healthy. What does Paul say? Well, whatever he doesn't get, the Broncos got to pay up to $39 million, right? Give him the veteran minimum. Antonio said, what's up, Mr. Antoine? Afternoon coffee with Tim. None of this wouldn't have happened if they just let DJ walk. Get the bridge quarterback, draft a quarterback. Boom. Knock, knock. Who's there? Boom. That literally sums it up right there. I'm trying to find the boom. I'm trying to find the explosion sound effect. Don't mind me. All right, well, we're gonna do that later. What is this? What do you got here? Great Friday, great off work. Good. I'm glad you're off work. I'm glad you can join us. OG says yes to Russ. It's better than what we have now. And Mr. Albert says, hey, Tim, which Bills free agent will the Giants grab this time? Well, there's the wide receiver and the running back. We did a video the other day about Joe Shane. And do I think that Joe Shane can right this ship? This is his third year. And I'm worried, guys. I'm worried. I'm not going to tell you I'm not worried. Oh, here we go. There we go. I'm not going to tell you I'm not worried. I'm not going to tell you I'm not concerned. I'm not going to tell you I'm not distressed. Because his drafts haven't been great. His free agencies have been adequate at best. And we're not developing any players. And what, we've taken 5 offensive linemen in the last 3 years in the first and second round, and we still don't have a fucking offensive line. You took an undersized. I know the Jets jumped up and grabbed the guy we probably wanted, but you took an undersized center and you were shocked that he got pushed around. When JMS came out, I said, one of my biggest concerns is he lost a lot of weight coming out of college. Even when I met him, he looked small for, and people say, well, Jason Kelce. Well, okay, for every Jason Kelce, you name me another person. He's a wrestler. He was supposed to learn to use his leverage. I didn't see it. Danny Dad says, I'm so sick and tired of Daniel Jones. It's exhausting. It is exhausting. Daryl says, Russ threw more touchdowns last season than Mahomes. I wouldn't discount his talent so easy. I wouldn't discount the talent either. If we had a guy that threw for 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in the annals of Giants history, that is an awesome year the last 5 years. Last 5 years, that'd be the greatest fucking year ever. Yes, Paul, Russell 26 and 8, that's a great year compared to what we've had. Hell fucking yeah. Chris says, I would take Wilson over Jones any day of the week and 10 times on Sunday. If we could take him 8 times on Sunday, actually, if we could just take him once on Sunday, I'd be happy. One time. Mr. Alvarez, we got another. And Wilson said he's willing to take a vet minimum contract because of the guaranteed money from the Broncos. Not at least giving him a call would feel like malpractice. Well, evidently he came into the stadium. He came over and took a little visit. So, Sir Foul Play says, any truth to Rich Eisen story regarding Giants being done with Daniel Jones? I don't know. It's the silly season. Monday starts legal tampering. It's the silly season. If the Giants had an exploratory conversation with Russell Wilson, it's got to tell you they got something in mind. It's got to give you some kind of pause to think that maybe something's going on. You hope it's true. So, try not to stay on Twitter. But I'm having such a great time on Twitter. I guess there was a giant YouTuber that deleted his entire Twitter account because of a video about calling us all losers and everything for the people that didn't believe in Daniel Jones. And even though he didn't believe in Daniel Jones, then he believed in Daniel Jones, then he didn't believe in Daniel Jones, then he believed in Daniel Jones, and then he didn't believe in Daniel Jones after the Dallas King. So evidently, I guess he couldn't take the heat, and I guess the Twitter kitchen got burnt to the ground. I love it because I got all these people tagging me on this shit. And I'm like, oh, dear. When you walk into your Twitter account and you see like 120 different, whatever they are, replies or mentions or whatever on the box, it's great. I was like, and the first thing I thought to myself, oh, Lord, what the hell happened now? What did I do now? What do we got here? Let's say if Russ do bad, we can take Dion, son, connectivity to camera. Battery. I didn't know I had a battery in my camera. Okay. Dion's son in draft next year. Oh, yeah, we could. Mr. Weaver says, I don't think Jones is going to be ready for week 1, whatever the Giants get a quarterback. They say I'll start 4-2. I don't see them putting Daniel Jones in if the bridge quarterback is doing well. If the bridge quarterback is Russell Wilson, how amazed would you all of a sudden be if the offensive line wasn't as porous? Would anyone truly be shocked if the offensive line didn't all of a sudden suck? Hey, Nick, just wanted to stay over. This franchise has traumatized me. It's traumatization. Get Russ and still drops quarterback. I like that. Let's see here. Did you see the videos trending about Daniel Jones? Oh, I like it. The Brunson's just like, I love it, man. He said, I've been getting tagged on these videos all day. I mean, literally, I've been getting tagged on the videos all since yesterday. And like I said, I thought I did something wrong. When I kept seeing the notifications, like, oh, shit, I did something wrong this time. No, it wasn't me this time. Wasn't me. I didn't do it this time. But it's awesome. It's great, though, because of the fact that I loved it, and I'm not trying to pick on someone, but I loved it when one of the things that I saw was how they talk about bashing Giant fans, and they said that you only read or even interact with Giant fans unless they send you a super chat. I thought that was awesome because I've been bitching about that about the Giants Nation forever. We got Little Big Don gifting online Big Blue memberships. You gotta love Big Don. Get your online Big Blue memberships. It's $1.99 because they won't let me charge nothing. You get all your videos early. You get all the articles early. We're gonna add in some other perks with the new website, NewYorkGiantsLive.com. So make sure you see that. Pimp Next look back because I saw that many of those same content creators now run into hiding and can't admit they were wrong. They deactivate their Twitter accounts. It's awesome. It's like the greatest thing I've ever seen. I'm having a field day just reading the stuff. I will tell you, some people are kind of people say I'm cutthroat. Oof. DJ is worse than Gettleman signing. Gettleman scored 0 in every free agency while he was in charge. He did. Mr. Robinson, Ricky Stromberg was on the board, and we looked pretty good at Washington. I like Ricky Stromberg. We actually did a video about Ricky. We did a video about all the centers, and JMS was like my third center. I wanted a guard and an edge in free agency. I like Kenny Moore, nickelback from Indy. We're only allowed to get guys from Buffalo. Come on, Paul. You're an intelligent Giant fan. We are only allowed to get guys that played in Buffalo. Ms. Smith says, Darryl Smith says, it's Lion season, but I don't believe there's a truth in all these claims. I kind of believe there's some truth mixed in. Miss Pimp Name Slickback said, I can't respect anyone talks trash and ducks when he's exposed as wrong. A real man can come on and admit he was wrong. Here I am. Here I am. Good or bad. Indifferent. I get so much shit on Twitter at times. It's not even funny. I don't block anyone. I wonka people because I just think it's funny. But you're not blocked forever. You're blocked for 15 minutes. I don't block. I love when people go, you blocked me on YouTube. No, you blocked yourself on YouTube because you wrote something stupid, and then YouTube automatically blocks you. I don't block anyone. Don't block anyone on Twitter. You want to know why? Because I don't know how. R0B had to explain to me, and Zack Attack had to explain to me that when someone writes you a message and it's on your screen and it's just like at onlineBigBlue.com and then there's a message, if you scroll up or down, I think it's up. If you scroll up, it shows you the message trail. It took me a year to know that. Mr. Darrell says maybe Shannon Dable showed Mara a PowerPoint on why we should move off Daniel Jones. I like that. NYG31. What's up, guys? I'm assuming that's Jason Sehorn. Stanley says, hey, Tim, what's your thoughts about Louis Riddick blaming the Giants organization for not setting up Daniel Jones for success? He's an idiot. No quarterback goes into a perfect situation. Patrick Mahomes did not, I mean, yeah, people be like, well, he's got all this talent. Yeah, he's got all this talent at times. But here's the problem with that. You didn't have an offense. I always said it. Name me one quality wide receiver last year that helped them get to the Super Bowl. You don't have everything forever. First time I'm on this live. Well, welcome. Welcome to the party, pal. Blair says, keep telling the truth, Tim. I always do, because I don't know any other way. Big Don in his house. On a side note, I didn't know this. I'm going to talk about this for half a second, though. I know where I'm going to talk Giants. Did you guys know you could design your own sneakers on Nike? Did you know that? You could customize your own sneakers. I love sneakers. I mean, I still have my Converse weapons from the 80s. Did you know this? You can even put your name on the back, and you can put any color. You could do canvas. You could do leather. You could. It's friggin' awesome. I may buy like 12 pairs. I know that. Emmanuel, what's up, my friend? Yo, Tim. OG says the Giants will do something dumb like get Carson Wentz. It's not dumb if you get him. If you give Carson Wentz a veteran minimum, it's not dumb. Carson Wentz had the Colts on the precipice of the playoffs, And yeah, they lost that bad game at the end of the season, but it wasn't all his fault. The defense also faltered as well because they gave up like 40 points. Daryl says, Big Don does it again. Big Don always does. Omega Supreme, where the hell have you been? I'm going to yell at Omega Supreme for a minute. Where the hell have you been?
Autobots, roll out. We roll.
Hey, Tim, I've been MAI just because released from the trend psychiatric due to the Giants 2023 season. The way out, they told me, see you in 2024. We'll keep a bed open for you. Manuel says, we let talent go and get Daniel Jones on offensive line. I love it. Here's the thing with me about this whole situation about the offensive line and everything else. And everything's going on with Xavier McKinney. I'd be shocked if McKinney or Barkley ever came back. I wouldn't be shocked if both of them went to Philadelphia. If you're not, and that's what I kind of talked about in the video yesterday, if you're not in a rebuild, you wouldn't let these guys go. You wouldn't let them hit the open market, because as soon as you hit the open market, if I'm Barkley, I've already said it. I've done it. I got to get the sound effect, but I'm doing the $6 million man. I am running. I am running to the Chargers. I am running to Philadelphia. I'm running to Dallas. If I'm Xavier McKinney, I love it because people are like, well, now the market now is flushed with safeties. Yeah, I see a lot of 30-year-olds. I see a lot of guys that are injury prone or coming off injuries. And I see a 24-year-old safety that played every single snap and can be a quasi linebacker and play in the box and cover. If we bring back Isaiah Simmons, I'm going to vomit. Chris says, bet Jordan pairs come in for a visit and possible signing. Oh, my God. You're right. Let's see. Mr. Weaver says, Tim, it all started when John Maye, with John Maye, you signed Gettleman instead of going outside the organization to get a GM that hasn't been the Giants' way. And well, the problem is we went out and got a guy now that hasn't been the Giants' way either. Nick says, how dare you tell the truth? I know. I apologize for those. I lost my mind. Big Don says, you're welcome. Pimp Name Slickback says, I'm leaning 80% sure. I don't want McCarthy. Only 80%. I just don't see it, even though Drake Maye, I can see his arm strength, his athleticism. JJ isn't special to me. Drake Maye, to me, is a more athletic Daniel Jones with a better arm. JJ McCarthy, even though I'm not a huge fan on him, has an unknown factor. He threw 659 passes in the last 3 years in college. He was on a run-centric team that played good defense. And the minimal amount of, I love it because people go, well, the minimal amount of the minimum amount of time when he was actually asked to throw the ball, he did great. Do you remember when we had a quarterback 2 years ago that was ranked 7th in deep ball passes? He's 7th in deep ball passes. Named Daniel Jones. And then you kind of broke it down a little bit. He had 13 attempts, completed 7 of them, only 2 touchdowns. And if you broke it down even more, those 2 touchdowns were busted plays by Darius Slayton. One was at the Texans game, where Daniel Jones kind of just was falling down and kind of just flicked it out to him. And somehow Slayton got it and ran past the defender for a touchdown. So when you have a small sample of work, yeah, it can look great until you actually break it down a little bit. But McCarthy has an unknown. Can he blossom outside of the tutelage of Jim Harbaugh? Does he have the? I don't see the athleticism that you see on some of these other guys. Spencer Rattler, has all the athleticism, the big arm, everything else. But I would still take McCarthy over Spencer. Joe Milton, biggest arm, huge arm, had some nice touch. Played at a big-time program, but I would probably still take McCarthy over Joe Milton. It's going to be about perceived talent and the perception of talent that can translate into the NFL. I would still take Williams, Daniels, Penix, and then probably Maye. Let's see here. Stanley says, hey, Tim, I don't know if you're watching boxing, but do you want to who do you have winning the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul matchup in July 20th? Mike Tyson's 57 years old. It's an exhibition. And then I love it because Jake Paul, who kind of seems like an asshole, he put out a video of Mike Tyson training and how crazy he looked and how crazy awesome he looked. Well, the video was from 3 years ago. And then Mike Tyson in an interview talked about that video and mentioned the fact that he was after that video, which was a 30-second video, he was in bed for a week. So let's see here. Michael says, Tim, we need to draft a quarterback and sign an offensive lineman, defensive end, and free agent. You're also going to need a safety. You have Pinnock and Belton. Everyone's worried about the offensive line. You're going to need a quarterback. You're going to need a running back. You're going to need at least one wide receiver. You're going to need a tight end. You're going to need at least 2 guards and maybe a tackle. And that's really it. That's it. Oh, backup center. Tim, you should have Discord. So people can talk with you on live. I don't like Discord because the same person that blocked his Twitter account used to use Discord all the time. He used to talk shit about me on Discord. And I love it because people will record it and send it to me. So I don't like Discord. I just like reading chats. Kelly loves the channel. I'm glad you love the channel. Mr. Alvarez says, I think I've said this before. Maye is a medium of Danny Crimes and Justin Herbert. I would take the Herbert part, but I'd take the Danny Crimes out. Stanley says, hey, Tim, I don't think Giants really put grass in MetLife Stadium. I think they put fake grass on the turf and claim they changed the turf. I bet on the turf. I took pictures of the seams and everything. It's interesting now that the Giants are not the Giants, but the people that actually own the stadium are remodeling the stadium for the World Cup. They're expanding the bowl, and I think they're doing grass. I don't know what's going on. It'll be interesting. Mr. Brunson says, Mel Kiper brought up a good point that J.J. McCarthy, when you have seen a guy throw, my monitor's crapping out. When you have seen a guy throw that little and then become an elite quarterback, taking up 6 would be malpractice. You're right. My protein shake. Mr. Weaver says, Joe Shane needs to come up and say, you know what, we screwed up. Daniel Jones is injury prone. He sucks, but you know what, Mr. Weaver, this is what I love. This is what I love. You're right. When I was in the business world, I always told people, if you make a mistake, do you know what the easiest way to diffuse the mistake is? Automatically accept blame. And I used to do this at work, and people would tell me, but Tim, you couldn't have been responsible for it. You weren't even here. And I'd be like, yeah, but now that we have someone to blame, we can get back to fixing the problem. And if you come out and say, if Joe Shane would have come out in the press and say, we screwed up on Daniel Jones, we should not have done it. I went against my complete philosophy. It was a huge mistake. We are going to move forward on it, and we're going to look for a quarterback. If he would do that, Giant fans would be like this. All right, Joe. That's what happens when someone accepts blame for something that takes full responsibility. No one knows what to say. They're dumbfounded because nobody does it. You are literally dumb. You screw up at work. I'm going to tell you this right now. You screw up at work and you're in a big meeting. You go in there and you just accept blame and you see what happens. All of a sudden, people start being nice to you. Well, it's not really your fault. The situation, this and that. Next thing you know, even though you're an idiot and you did something stupid, you are now the victim. I tell people I didn't get in trouble, but I was in a big meeting once, and I love it because I just accepted blame for the situation, and everyone and people were like, "How are you accepting blame for the situation?" I'm like, "Well, because this is the easier thing to do." And I was in a meeting with the guys whose name was on the building. So it's like, you just went to these multi-billionaires and just said this, and, but then everybody loved it. That's what Joe should do. Terry David says, I can only imagine the state of the locker room right now. Well, it's pretty empty. Daryl says, I feel like the league is trying to reset the value of the safety position. I don't think it's like the running back market. I just think at this point in time, you got some guys that were probably overpaid and underperformed. But right now, I think Xavier McKinney is the top safety on the market. Jay says, bring in Russell. If you could bring him in at a league minimum and compete with Daniel Jones, maybe by osmosis, Daniel Jones will learn something from a Super Bowl champion. But he didn't learn anything from Eli Manning. It's still fake grass. It's all fake grass. I was born in a crossfire hurricane. What's up, Ohio? What's up, Greg? Yeah, Tim, giant content creators are like weird high school cliques. They have private chats, discards. They sit down and gossip with other people. It's childish. Get outside, touch some grass. I've said it before, and I'm not trying to be mean. Well, maybe I am. A lot of these people that create content were people that were never cool in high school, and now they think they're sitting at the cool kids table. That's just what it is. That's literally, really just what it is. And they're still not cool in life, but that's just the way it is. It's so sad. So much money being made and still can't get real grass. Freaking annoying. Well, you can't get real grass because you got two teams, you got concerts, you got everything else. You need the synthetic shit. You have to. What's up, Purple Phoenix? What's up? The sky, the moon, the stars. Mr. Albert says, I saw a tweet and said the Steelers will release Patrick Peterson. Oh, we should go get him. Do you think the Giants give him a look at his stopgap, or does he even fit the scheme? I don't think he fits the scheme. And Mr. Alvarez, that is an astute point, because and I've said this before, there's the picture of Squidward wearing the Giants hat pointing down that every Giant person uses on Twitter when the Giants should sign somebody. I just think to myself, hello, high water. Some of these people don't even fit the scheme. Hey, don't forget to hit the like. You have 100 people in this room. Hit the like. It helps the channel. It allows us to grow so we could be more annoying to people, because that's just my goal in life. What does Todd say? Harbaugh was a Pro Bowl. He looked at McCarthy and said, run the ball. I think that's what he said. Was he a Pro Bowl quarterback? I don't remember. Jim Harbaugh I remember when he took the Colts to the playoffs. I do remember that, but I don't remember. Was Harbaugh ever a Pro Bowl quarterback? I know he played for the Bears, the Colts, the Chargers, and I know he had a stop with the Lions and I think the Panthers. And I know he was taken 26th overall in his draft. So I don't know. Was he a Pro Bowler? Peterson is shot. He was shot 2 years ago. And Minnie, yeah, he was. You're right. He is. Good point. Stanley says, I think J.J. McCarthy is NFL ready. A lot of people are saying he doesn't have to play in a bad situation, but I think McCarthy has the talent and the clutch ability to carry a team. Problem is he's never done it. And it doesn't mean he can't do it. I'm not faulting. He's just never done it. Well, let's see here. Tim, what are your thoughts on Xavier McKinney coming back? He ain't coming back. Unless the market totally implodes and we get a fan-friendly deal, he's not coming back. But I got to read something real quick, though. I thought this was funny as hell. Friend of the show, Phil, sent me a list today, emailed me. He made a list, and I loved it, Doug. I posted it on Twitter. And the list is titled, The Top 10 Things Giant Fans Say to Tim That Piss Him the Fuck Off. I love it because he goes, number 1, why should we listen to you? You were wrong about Malik Willis. Number 2, you're so negative. You probably think this song is about you. Don't you? Joe Shane is a genius for the Daniel Jones contract. Number 4, only certain quarterbacks. You like only certain quarterbacks because they're black and you want more subscribers. Number 5, Daniel Jones has no line, no wide receivers. So we got to give the kid another chance heading into year 7. Number 6, look, we got Neon in the draft room. Number 7, Tim, you said Joe Milton's going to be a top 5 quarterback. Number 8, every video chat sports makes and them stealing money from children. Number 9, 2025, we're going to have $175 million in cap space. Number 10, running laps is cool. And then he put in a bonus that says, John Mayer's golf buddy said the Giants won't draft a quarterback in 2024. Thank you, Phil from Connecticut. I thought that was awesome. That actually made my day. Let's see here. Greg says, offensive line, Tom Brady couldn't survive. Go back and watch the early Super Bowls. And also tell me what was his offensive line and what were his wide receivers. What's up? Miguel says, what's up, Tim? Let's get, I want, I think we all know what you want. Won't you be my neighbors? What's up, Tim Dog? Says Greg. We have the sounds of Sinatra and the way you look tonight. What's up? Wilson to the Giants. I'd take it. sign me up. Hit the like and sign me up. I've already said it before. Maybe with the Colts. He had the 1 year with the Colts when the Colts were like 7-9 and they went to the playoffs and they won a playoff game. I remember that, but I don't know if he ever made a Pro Bowl. I really don't know. Let's see here. The Schreider says that's 1 year that came short of the Super Bowl. You're right. Tim Franks says, like my Timmy. Tim, he was 1985 comeback player of the year and was a Pro Bowler. Okay. I did not know that. Damn. So we lost both McKinney and Barkley. Ouch. Well, we'll get a compensatory picks at least. Different view says JJ should have stayed one more year you know what? That with all the rhetoric and all the hype right now on JJ McCarthy, he's coming out because of the money. Because he would have to have so much confidence in himself to go back to Michigan without Harbaugh. But to your point, different views, if JJ would have went back to Michigan and proved that he could carry a team, he would probably be the first overall pick next year. Tim, how about Daniel Jones is the guy? He is the... It's a good one. I like that one too. Thanks for the defense against dudes saying I can't put the puzzles together. You know what? Anyone knows about this show, and I'm not talking just about Frank. I'm talking about anyone that is a regular. I try to, and it's difficult because we have almost 12,000 subscribers, but I try to remember as many people as I can, and I remember a lot of people in the chats, and I think one of the things that I always will tell you, and I've always told everyone else, you don't pick on the people that follow this show. You don't. I don't care if you're a guest. I don't care who the hell you are, because you will feel my wrath. You will feel it. And as those that know, it's not something you want to be on the other end of. So that was an out of line comment. And I will defend anyone that follows this show and has been following it for, and Frank, you've been following it forever. And I will make sure that that does not happen here. For Big L Timmy, Azula at 6, Penix at 36. We're gonna sign Russell Wilson. All right, I'm down with that. Can't spell either. That's all right. I can't spell puzzle either. Neither can I, so don't worry about it. Well, Chippy, my neighbors. Nick says Timmy had no wide receivers. Oh, that guy that won Super Bowls? Yeah, no, he didn't. When Jabbar Gaffney at one point your best wide receiver, there's problems. Tim, if you stay at 6 and draft neighbors, I'm fine with that. If you draft a quarterback later, let's say Spencer Rattler, I can't take Spencer Rattler. I can't take a guy that went from a Heisman hopeful to flaming out to having to go to South Carolina. I can't. I literally cannot do that. I wish I could. Stanley says, hey, Tim, do you think the Giants will sign Barkley to... No. Stanley, you're Saquon Barkley. You have been in a bad situation for 6 years. You are free. You can go anywhere you want in the entire league. 31 other teams. You can go to any one of those teams. You could handpick a playoff team. Playoffs. And you can go anywhere you want. Me, if they want me, I am taking my ass to the nice... Oh, gold's up high. I'm taking my ass to the nice warm weather where they have a duck for a quarterback and a hardball for a coach. That's what I'm doing. Well, Chippy, my neighbor. I know what you meant. Greg says, Daniel gets one more chance. He just needs an offensive line, wide receiver, running back, left tackle, and defense with Leonard Marshall, and he can take us up the chip. That's all he needs. That's all we need. Damn, that's it. We should be like number one. Big thumbs up from New Orleans. What does Jason say? How on earth are people still talking about the O-line with the expectations of 5 teams? Everyone has a shit O-line. Weird how the offensive line just happens to play better with Tommy DeVito and Tyrod Taylor. That's what I said. How shocked would anyone be if Russell Wilson did come here and all of a sudden the offensive, he all of a sudden didn't look that bad? 2004, the Giants had a terrible offensive line. Kurt Warner, Pro Bowl MVP, Super Bowl quarterback, getting killed behind the line. Way too many sacks. Rookie quarterback from Ole Miss comes in. Doesn't play well, but takes hell of a lot less sacks. Why? Because he got rid of the ball quick. Big thumbs up from New Orleans. Also, if you don't know it, go to NewYorkGiantsLive.com. I got a great article on there I wrote today talking about the great New York Giant quarterbacks, the top 5 New York Giant quarterbacks. I did a little, I like to do a little cinematic thing. So I did. Here you go, guys. I did a little cinematic. You'll see. Go read the article. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Jason says it's almost as if DJ is a sophisticated idiot that holds on to the ball too long. Oh, poor Daniel Jones. Mr. Alvarez says the Giants better draft a quarterback, wide receivers. All the people complain about how the Giants don't address offensive line. They just sucked at who they get. You drafted 5 offensive linemen in the last 3 years in the first 2 rounds? Nick says, what I love about this channel is you welcome everyone and don't pull the BS with people. You also don't put up with people's BS. Much love and respect, my brother. Well, Nick, I appreciate that. Greg says offensive line was rated what? What does it matter what the offensive line is rated? New York Giants, 2011, had one of the worst, if not the worst offensive line in the entire league. Almost got their quarterback killed in San Francisco during a playoff game. I'm not sure what happened that year. I got to think about what happened that year. Sally says, I'm sorry to have to say this, but DJ for the last 6 years? Hold on, my screen crapped out again. The monitor cable's losing. I'm too lazy to go up and fix it. For the last 6 years, man, us Giant fans have patience as saint. Yeah, most people get rid of guys after 2 years, 3 years. We like to quadruple down on shit. Nobody's going to pull the wool over these eyes. These eyes are smiling. These eyes, I've seen a lot of love, but they've never seen a lot of love like I've seen in you. Nick says, been a subscriber since 2020. Well, big salute, Nick.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I've seen you on the chat many times, Nick. El Gigante says, hit the like, help a brother out. What's up, Big L? Doing it, L. Chris says, we're going to miss Barkley. He cannot sign with the Eagles. That would be a repeat of seeing Mark Bavaro in an Eagles uniform. Please. Anyone but the Eagles. People forget the Bavaro thing. He went to Cleveland and Philadelphia because the Giants thought he was washed up. They thought his knees were shot. So they kind of just dumped him and got rid of him. Base, how low can you go? Stanley says, hey, Tim, I heard Eli Manning is working with Drake Maye so the Giants can make a play for Maye. Heard that too. I heard that. Zach Attack says, Cincinnati Bengals, we're tossing lines. Oh, Cincinnati Bengals got their rookie franchise number 1 overall quarterback killed. Came back from an ACL the next year and took his team to the Super Bowl. But you need an offensive line. What upsets me, says Nick, about the whole situation, I understand the cap, but your nickel and somebody player you actually have on the impact to pay a quarterback $106 million is still beyond me. You let your 27-year-old franchise running back, who was arguably the last 2 seasons, your entire offense go. I can understand that because you don't want to pay him the money. I can get that. You have a homegrown 24-year-old safety who played 100% of every snap defensively last year, played well, can be a safety, can be a free safety, can be a strong safety, can be a quasi in the box linebacker. And you just decided, hey, listen, go test out the market. Why didn't you do that shit with Daniel Jones 2 years ago? Here's the thing, especially with McKinney. Put the non-exclusive tag on him. People are like, but Tim, you can't do that. That'll tie up all that guaranteed money in the cap space. Okay. It gives you the right to match any offer. You could still negotiate with him. Get 2 first-round picks if he leaves. And watch this. This is going to be crazy. Nothing up my sleeve. If things are going bad, ready for this, guys? I know this is going to be... I got to have the explosion sound effect because this is going to be mind-blowing for some. You put the non-exclusive franchise tag on Xavier McKinney. You allow him to test the market. You allow someone else to make a deal with him. You can match that deal. You can not match the deal. You can let him walk for 2 first-rounders. And if you head into free agency and you are seeing it's not going your way, what can you do? Ready for this, guys? You can rescind the tag. Frankie says, love me some Tim. What else do you do in retirement between my vodkas? Hopefully it's Belvedere. Jason says, hope Barkley goes to the Chargers and becomes a pain in the Chiefs. And I hope they do that too. Strider says, Tim loves confrontation. I really do. You would literally think that I got older, I would stop. I really do. And so if you try anything, he will not put you out. But with it, he will confront you and tell you in your face, don't mess with Tim. That's why I always tell people, baby, F8. That's where I park. You can't miss me. Mark Bavaro says, plus I roll with a big posse. Mark Bavaro said, Tim, I want to hit one guy one more time just because some player from Houston Chiefs shot at him and he wasn't happy with that formation. I remember that. He talked about that because he goes, he was running the play and it was going to the right. And I remember the whole clip because Phil Simms goes, the next thing I do, look at Bavaro and goes, and he goes, what, Mark, you don't want to run that play? He goes, I want to run it to the other side because I want to hit that guy one more time. Stanley says, I think Shane Bowen's scheme will fit Thibodeau better than I don't think so. Shane Bowen, unless he changes his philosophy over the last 4 years, is a guy that only blitzes about 25% of the time, has a tendency to run a 4-man front and drop his ends into coverage. So unless he's going to change the philosophy, what's up, Mr. DeSantis? 100%, Tim. So unless he's changed his philosophy, I don't think it's going to work. Zacatech says, I feel like Joe Shane is a figurehead at this point. Reese Gelman. Now, Shane, same shit, different day. These eyes are smiling. These eyes have seen a lot of love. I'm sorry. I got that song stuck in my head. Swing Culture. What's up, my brother? What's a transition tag? It's a tag that you transition to. Zacatech says non-exclusive, not transition tag. I'm sorry, non-exclusive tag. I apologize. I'm thinking baseball. I used to be a transition tag also in football a long time ago. Zacatech says Wilson for the minimum and buy out the O-line. Am I taking stupid pills? Buy an O-line. Oh, buy an O-line. If Wilson is willing to take the minimum, I'm not going to buy an offensive line. I'm going to keep Neal at tackle. I'm going to try to pick up a guard. I'm going to see if JMS can sort some stuff out. And I'm going to see what I have on the roster and maybe pick up some low-hanging fruit and kind of build it that way. Because I think Wilson, if you change your offensive philosophy and go to more of a quick style offense, a little bit more of a little bit more of a West Coast deal, I think you can survive with Russell Wilson. But the problem is you can't do it with Daniel Jones. Todd says, are the players around the league seeing how these guys are being treated and have that hurts at Jones' ability to sign new players? That's the other thing. People are like, well, all these guys are coming here. This is going to be like the Yankees, guys. You're going to have to overpay people. We've been to the playoffs once in 47 years. We could have a lame duck coach, lame duck general manager. There's really no talent on the roster. But you come here. Come on. Hit that like button. Tim's being a season ticket holder after 6 years of Daniel Jones. You feel like Groundhog Day. I feel like a chump. Honestly, I feel like a chump. There was so many games I didn't want to go to last year. And you know what's funny? When Tommy DeVito and Tyrod Taylor played, I went. Didn't want to go when Daniel Jones played. I went to that first game of the season when he played. Sat in the rain with Big L Gigant there. Said it before, said it a million times. At one point, it's 26-0, pouring rain. I look at Big Al and say, I think we can come back. He looks at me and said, they may drop 50. So I feel like a chump. Strider says, Bowen dropped his best pass rushers from Houston a crap of times last year. I talked to Tim. He has. I've seen it. With the Titans. Well, you know what? To me, the Tennessee Titans are still the Houston Oilers. They're still the Houston Oilers. Shredder says, I'm sorry, not Houston. I got you, brother. Todd says, well, okay, KT, just standing in space, not threatening anyone seems like a perfect way to play. He played that the last 6 games of the season. Hey, listen. Don't come near me. Don't you do it. We had a guy blocked by Jaden Hurts. He blocked our quarterback. I mean, not our quarterback. He blocked our he blocked our star defender. Eagles quarterback. I love it. I love it. Watch out, Kayvon. This picture is the epitome of the New York Giants football season. New York Giants season. Kayvon sitting there going, "Oh Jesus, I can't get around him. He's like a wall." Oh my God. These eyes are smiling. These eyes have seen a lot of love and never seen a lot of love like I've seen in you. Jason says it's time for us to be honest. Kayvon is average player at best. Neil is a pile of hot garbage. Never seen a man with that big just get bitch slapped around. Smaller defensive ends all game. One more year, then I will tell you if I think Evan Neal's a piece of crap. Zach says the Oregon defense runs in similar to what the McDonald's ran in Baltimore, but Kayvon isn't a true edge. But Kayvon's not a true edge. That's a problem. Frankie says making the chicken soup, but still listening to my cordless headset. I'm going to be throwing in a brisket in a minute, and like one something I got thrown on my brisket in the smoker. Let's see. Host, what is host Tahara says? Josh Allen, 56 completion percentage, 16 touchdowns, fewer passing yards the last year in college. I'm starting to think Joe Milton, big athletic with a bazooka. Some people think I love Joe Milton, which I think is hilarious. I just talked about the fact that Joe Milton, has the athletic intangibles. So people like to run with things like that. But I would take Joe Milton in the later round. I would take Joe Milton on flyer in a 6th, 7th round pick. Hell yeah. Big, strong, athletic, speed. Got all the arm strength. Does he have the smarts? I don't know. Because, he was he's like Bo Nix. He was kind of a one-read quarterback in Tennessee. He came in, I thought he was going to do more with Hendon Hooker. Well, it went down, but he didn't. So it's interesting. Hit the damn like button. There's 120-something people in the chat, and there's 35 likes. If you don't start hitting the like button, I'm going to start charging people super chats and then end up donating them again to the Children's Hospital. Let's see here. Esther Alvarez says Lemieux, Hernandez, Azuda, McKeithen, Isaiah Wilson, Thomas, Neal, Bredesen, Pert, Cunningham, Gates, Phillip, Pugh, Glowinski. Just name a few people. Can't tell me the Giants ignore the offensive line. No, that you're right. The Giants have not ignored the offensive line. I like doing 12 o'clock streams. I got a lot of energy. Alvarez says they just suck at evaluating offensive linemen. You're right. OG also says if they get the Russ, the Giants will make the playoffs this season. No. No. You get Russ, you will be able to have a better showing if you get Russell Wilson. Not making the playoffs, though. 2 years ago, I would have said that. Mr. Robert says, if you get a statue at a quarterback, it's a recipe for disaster. Chris says, Tim, if you do anything for agency, the top priority should be fixing both guards. I think that is critical. I also think this would help. This in Neil and JMS. I said the same thing. Andrew Thomas's biggest issue those first 2 years was he was paired with Will Hernandez. Look what happens when Will Hernandez went out with COVID and he was paired with Shane Lemieux. All of a sudden, he knew how to block again. We went through this. We talked about it a million times how Will Hernandez screwed up Andrew Thomas. But no one wanted to talk about it except for me. And then I love it because then, like, when we finally got rid of Will Hernandez and he becomes an all-pro, Andrew Thomas, people are like, well, there was a lot of situated problems with him and Will Hernandez. Yeah. Some of us talked about it during the season. It's really cool. Hey, Tim, what's up? I'm not hearing a buzz around Michael Pratt and Devin Leary because they are sleepers in the draft. I like Devin Leary had a good combine. I don't think he's got the arm strength, though. But if you're looking for a guy that's going to give you the extreme accuracy on the short to intermediate passes, Leary's your guy. Brisket. Oh. Every time I think of brisket, I always said, I'm the one that said just grab them in the biscuits. Let's see. Zach Attack says, I love how two similar quarterbacks, AR-15 and Joe Milton, will have fans love. They are very eerie similar stats. Jason says, Wilson is a perfect quarterback. Plus, he'll even demand you pay him the league minimum so you could stick the difference to the Broncos. Why not Russ? I would take Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson wanted to come here on a veteran minimum 1-year deal and be a bridge quarterback, I would take him. We're at 46 likes. If we don't get to 100 in the next 10 minutes, Daniel Jones is going to be this quarterback for this team for the next 10 years. One and hate the other. What's up, my brother? How you doing, my friend? Good afternoon. Let's see here. Giants can't miss if they take Joe Alt. Okay, I'm going to explain the Joe Alt situation one last time. Hey, Phil from Connecticut, add this to the list. I'll explain this one last time. 2 years ago, you took a left tackle at 7 and moved him to right tackle, and that experiment didn't work. Now people want to take the left tackle, who's now a right tackle, move him to right guard. So now you're going to take Joe Alt, who is a left tackle at Notre Dame, move him to right tackle. Then you have your right guard, who used to be your left tackle, and then your right guard playing right guard, and then your left tackle in college playing your right tackle position next to your undersized center. No, thank you. No. I'm not making fun. I'm just saying no thank you. Stanley says, I would like the Giants to draft Max Melton, the quarterback out of Rutgers. He is a talented corner. Yeah, I could see that. Blazin says, Tim, what's up? Zach and Zach says, why do the Giants fans feel like they need to put down quarterbacks and take their things out of context like ESPN? You want to know why? I'm going to tell you why, Zach. Because that's the way you get the likes, the clicks, the bleeps, and the boops. That's it. It's plain and simple. That's people are always like, I always love it because, you know, I always have these people that are content creators or former content creators. And we had, I had someone that works in the media industry. And they also do things for social media and something like that. And they say, you know, Tim, you only have 12,000 subscribers, which to me is amazing that. And I was like, yeah, I know. And they're like, you know, and you have all these people that have like 40,000, 100,000, 50,000, 20,000. You could have these people. And I was like, okay, great. How do I do this? Stop telling the truth. Then what's the sense of doing it if you're not going to tell the truth? Back want Wilson now. I heard Zach Wilson will be good. Yeah, I heard Zach Wilson's going to be great. Blazen says, I need to be talked off the ledge as a Giant fan. Okay, my brother, I'm going to talk you off the ledge as a Giant fan. Now, I hope that clears it for you and adds you some clarity. It's not going to be. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. And unless they do something, and here's the thing, you're going to get a lot of guys that are going to come to New York if you overpay them. If you overpay these guys, they will come to New York. Sure. Give anyone enough guaranteed money, they'll come here. You overpaid for Bobby Okereke. You take a look at what the off-the-ball linebacker market was and what they got in Chicago compared to what you paid Bobby Okereke, you overpaid. Now, we've talked about this before. You overpay a situation sometimes because out of need, and the Giants needed a quality linebacker, and they got a quality linebacker in Bobby. I don't care that they overpaid him, but you have to look at the market value for an off-the-ball linebacker. We overpaid by about $5 million. But you had to overpay him to get him into the building. Paris Campbell. We overpaid Paris Campbell, even though Paris Campbell was a flaming flop. Paris Campbell even came out and said, nobody was offering me any money. I took the Giant deal because they were the only one that offered me a contract at this value. And you overpaid to get Paris Campbell. Daniel Jones comes off a one average season. Average. Do I have to delete my Twitter account if I say something about Daniel Jones? Sorry. One average season. So you decide, hey, I'm going to overpay him the market value and give him $160 million after he asked for 50. And now you have a team like Tampa who made the playoffs, who Blake Martinez, I miss Blake Martinez, who Baker Mayfield threw for over 4,000 yards, over 20 touchdowns, unexpectedly led his team to the playoffs. Tampa's sitting there like, we have to see what the market dictates for Baker Mayfield. That's their only starting quarterback on the roster. But no, the Giants in that situation decide we're going to just overpay for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones fucked up the quarterback market for so many guys. You would think that Baker Mayfield would get $45 million a year from Tampa Bay off of what Jones got. No. Now it's like 30. Stanley says, hey, Tim, why do people on ESPN want Saquon Barkley to come to the Dallas Cowboys? Because they want him to stick it to the Giants because they know how much the Giants fucked him over. 50 likes, man. Only at 50. We're not going to hit 100. That means Dan Jones is going to be a quarterback for the next 5 years. Really? That's what you want?
Gentlemen was break.
No. It's Daniel Jones at the 5. It's Daniel Jones at... Never mind. Let's see here. Jason says, I need help getting off the ledge. Jason, don't come here because evidently I'm going to push you off the ledge. Gabriel says, at this point, I hope we address the guard and free agency just proven commodity at the positions. You're going to have to. But I would rather go with some guys that are, lower level. I've talked about this before. Go after some guys that maybe aren't the biggest names, maybe have projected talent that you can get out to low value contracts that you can get out of quickly if needed and try to rebuild your offensive line that way instead of trying hitting the home run with like a Glowinski. And I mean, we talked about it the day they signed Glowinski. I said his career was pedestrian until he got to the Colts. Then all of a sudden he could play. And we questioned it here on the live stream that was it because of the scheme that they ran in Indianapolis? And it was. And came here and he did not play well at all. And I don't want to hear about John Feliciano. Oh, dear Lord. John Feliciano was the best offensive lineman for the 49ers. He played like in 42% of the snaps. Again, it's the quality of the body of work. And sometimes when the body of work is small, the quality is high. But when you extrapolate it over an official season, an entire season, or 80, 90%, that quality of work is probably going to go down. Zacatech says there's a good chance the Giants go winless in their division. Washington gets a quarterback. I think they might. Jason said, Tim just ended, kid. Can't, man. Made by the Giants says, call me crazy. All right, you're crazy. Chris says, hey, I'm just joking. Call me crazy, but I'd rather go with Russell Wilson cheap route 1 to 2 years than load up on skill position in the draft, then draft quarterback. I don't think you're crazy. That's what I would do. You drive me crazy. I think that's a great idea. Chris says, I am okay with bad as long as we help right the ship. The stars start to show us heading into the season. I said this so many times. What's up, love God? I haven't seen you in a while. I've said this so many times about the freaking Giants. Said this when Joe Shane took over. Show me a progression. As a season ticket holder, I can stomach it if I see progress each year. You started off at a 7-2 high note. You only won 2 games over the remainder of the season. You had to win in against one of the worst defenses I've seen in the playoffs in 20 years in Minnesota. Got wrecked by the Eagles. Got wrecked your home opener. And you told me as a coach and a general manager, which kills me to this day. And I should have stopped the season ticket check that day last year when you told me we won't know what kind of team we have until about week 4. You had an entire offseason. You had an entire free agency. You had an entire draft. You had an entire training camp. You had 3 preseason games. And you still didn't know what kind of team you had? That was one of the worst comments that I've ever heard. What's up, love God? Baker Mayfield also brought Cleveland Browns to the playoffs. Yeah, he did in totality. Blake says he probably deserves $45 million. OGR says never fear OGR is here. I recently thought through my embarrassed reaction I had 2 years ago. Guess that I laughed because it's funny was a horrible take. Because you're a man. You're not going to delete your Twitter account. 'Cause I'm a man without conviction. You come and go. You come and go. Come on, OGR. You come and go. You come and go. He's on the Twitter and he ain't gonna delete his account. 'Cause he comes and goes. He comes and goes. Sometimes I should just leave shit in here. Come on, people. Hit that like button. Hit that like. OGR, I sent him the video. Oh, I posted the video that you sent me, Zach Attack. Love God said, do you think the guard Robert Hunt from the Dolphins would be a fit for us? I don't know what our offensive scheme is going to be, to be honest. I wish I could tell you. I really wish I could tell you. And then I could tell you who's going to fit the system. I expect the Commanders to do well. I expect the Commanders, if they get a quarterback, it's going to suck for us. MK5, the VW says, Wilson had 26 touchdowns. Most Giants would have seen. I said that in the first hour. You had 20. You throw for over 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions as a Giant. You're a god. That's what he did last year. And he had a 5-game winning streak mixed in there too. You would be a god in New York in the Giants because that we saw that with a below-average season by Daniel Jones. Jace said, if the Bucs are smart, they will pay Baker. I think the Bucs are smart really right now by not paying Baker. I heard Russell Wilson was very interested in playing in New York because his wife, Ciara, has a lot of business dealings in New York. Ask Carmelo Anthony how him and Lala went when they came to New York. Wilson probably would have taken the Broncos to the playoffs if they didn't sit him. Yeah, it was weird with it. I mean, I love Sean Payton. I mean, I didn't love him as a Giant, but I loved him, everything goes on. But what would the situation have looked like if they didn't decide to sit Russell Wilson? I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what, and I understand Sean Payton has built up the cachet in the league, but he also built up the cachet in the league with some guy named Drew Brees. And it's kind of like Belichick with his, with his guy, Tom Brady. I mean, what was the thought process to kind of because you won, you lost 3 games, you won 1, you lost 2, then you rattled off 5, and then you lost 1 and won 1, and then you decide that you're gonna bench Russell Wilson. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get the philosophy, but it's not for me to get. Maybe don't do that again. No, I'm going to do that 1,000 times. Wilson says, Wilson probably did well despite the beyond fucked up criticism he had to play in last year. I agree. Rodgers would have loved Wilson to come here, give the media a higher profile quarterback to target at times. If Washington gets Caleb, if Washington gets Washington, I'm going to say Jack next. If Washington gets Jaden Daniels, we're screwed. Because then we have the 4th best quarterback in the division. You could literally sit there and go, Dak, Hurts, Washington, Jaden Daniels, Giants. You really could. Washington's actually, the new ownership seems to be doing it right. Seems to be doing something right for a change. Which I think will be scary for an organization such as the Giants. We are stuck in neutral in the mud. And we are wondering why the mud is flying everywhere and we can't move. And we are burning out the transmission to the point that we may have to replace the transmission by bringing in a new head coach and a new general manager in year 4. You got to give Shane and Dable this year. You really do. Shane has said it. He came out and said it. I screwed up. He didn't really say it, but he said, I went against my philosophy by giving out big contracts. And he meant the Daniel Jones contract. He said it, built through the draft, augment through free agency. He kind of got away from that with the Waller and the Paris Campbell and the Okereke. He got away from that because of the wins of that 7-2 start. And it dropped the franchise back into the depths of despair. And then we turn around. I look at this roster. This roster does not look any better than 2021's. So the question is, how many times are we going to run the victory formation on first down when it's the first quarter? And I'm not trying to be gloom. I'm not trying to be doom. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying it's kind of what it is. It really is just kind of what it is. And as Giant fans, you know, it's a shit sandwich, and we're all gonna have to take a big bite out of it, and then hope someone brought the paprika, or the adobo, or the sazon to sprinkle on the shit, so it could be palatable. Geez, I might do a noon stream every day on those pearls of wisdom. And don't worry, guys, I got a better mic. Hey, watch this. See, I got this really cool mic. Just haven't plugged it in yet. It's only been sitting there since Christmas, so don't judge me. Adobo. I love adobo. There's this thing on YouTube. The guy does the I Love Adobo song. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Hell holes everywhere on the roster. I keep thinking the Spinal Tap. Hellhole. You know where you stand in a hellhole. Folks lend a hand in a hellhole. Nick says, to all the fans that want us to win meaningless games, don't complain when we are in this situation. That wraps it up, man. What do we got? Blaze and said, adobo and paprika. Brisket sounds good. Alex Sports, what's up, Alex Sports? What's going on, my friend? Jason says, today's stream is hitting different, Tim. Today's stream is hitting different, Tim. Why? Is that good or bad? Jason, is that good or bad? I don't know what that means. Quantify your statement, Jason. I'll wait, because I have nothing better to do. Actually, I got to start the brisket soon. And I got to go get my son. And I got to go walk the dog. So, I just got a shitload of stuff to do. And I got an appointment at 4:00. Oh, my. And I got another appointment at 3:00. Great different. Oh, okay. I like that. Zacatech says, while on the topic of food, what's your go-to tailgate food? I am a big barbecue guy. I have an electric smoker, a huge smoker, and a big green egg barbecue. It's all ceramic barbecue. And I have a little stylish big green egg like barbecue that I take to the tailgates. So what I like to do is I get these little filet mignons. They're about this big, and I get them from there's a place down here that's actually on a cow farm. So I get those. And I've never once had a complaint about my filet mignons. I mean, people, like I said, I would have to get to the game early, and people would be like, and I didn't do it last year, but I did it the year before. But it's that's my go-to thing. What is he? Made by Giant says it's good. Jason says different, brother. Well, thank you. Hit different means it's good and it's memorable. Ooh, I like that. Blazin says today's stream. Blazin says, Tim, will you do a draft night stream? Yes. For those that do not know, I will be doing a draft night stream. Dahmer, Big Don, James Williams, and I think T Brad is gonna try to stop, and those four guys are running the stream. I will be calling the draft once again from inside the locker room at Giant Stadium, like we did last year. So we will have a stream. Like I said, I won't be on it all the time, but I will be calling the picks from inside the Giant locker room. So that's always fun. Stanley says that the Giants would say, come on, Barkley go. Giants is trying to get worse than it was 3 years ago because Barkley is their only weapon. Made for Giants to cook up the rib tips. Oh, I made rib tips the other day. Were so good. And then I also threw in, I really had some St. Louis style ribs that I put in the smoker, and I cooked them for about 8 hours. 225, a little bit of apple wood, a little bit of water, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of my famous rub.
That's what she said.
And, it came out blazing. Or will you do a stream for I'll do a stream. You know what? I will do a stream. I didn't do a stream the second night last year, but I will do a stream. I will be leading the stream the second night the second rounds. I will be doing that strip. I didn't do it last year, but I will do it this year. David says Spinal Tap. Of course, it's Spinal Tap. Folks lend a hand in a hellhole. Troll says, ain't nothing like blues, big blues barbecues by Joe. I don't think I ever had that. Miguel says, that's true. All the fans don't want us to take the tank. They just want us to give away our draft picks. Zacatecas, the new Bryce Wheaton Ford, clone from West Virginia, is Rob's already saying that he is the best. Jason says, if Daniel Jones was a strain of weed, it probably you wouldn't get stoned. If Daniel Jones was a strain of weed, you probably would get stoned, but you would get even more paranoid. Did he throw it? What was that movie, Ted? Was it Ted 2 when they were doing the weed and the one string was, can you help me get home? And he's walking on the wall going, can you help me get home? The giant strain would be, did Daniel Jones just fuck up again? That would be the strain of weed from Daniel Jones. All this food talk is making me hungry. It's actually making me hungry too. I got a steak upstairs from last night. Did a nice porterhouse last night, which is always great. And then I had this. It's called this. I forget what it's called. It's called a sirloin something. It's a sirloin steak, but it's a name to it. But it's a specific name to the butcher that I get it from, which is upstairs as well. And I got to eat that too. But I got 130 people in the chat. What the hell, people? What the hell, people? I only got 57 likes. Don't lend a hand. Oh, 60 likes in a hellhole. How many more years until Archie Manny's got to get on the field? Archie Manny's talking shit and he hasn't even played. All this for Tim. I need to start a brisket at 1 is 113. The worst part is I haven't turned on the smoker yet. So that's gonna take a few minutes. But I feel bad when 130 people come in. I feel bad. I'm not just gonna leave. Should I start charging super chats? I'm so bad. I'm so bad, man. I just love the one comment that, you know, you don't have any that wasn't from me, it was from someone else on Twitter, but you don't have any time for Giant fans unless they pay you super chats. I thought that was the greatest comment in the world. People all follow me on Twitter, keep tagging me on that shit, because I swear that just made my day and made me laugh so hard. You know what? We've said it how many times on this show, and we always say, you know what? You could be wrong, because we've been wrong many times, but you got to stand up and be wrong like a man. But just remember this, if you're going to be an asshole about it, the chickens will come home to roost one day. I want to read this one last time from Phil from Connecticut. It's the top 10 things that Giant fans say to Tim that piss him the fuck off. Number 1, we should have listened. Why should we listen to you? You are wrong about Malik Willis. Number 2, you're so negative. Number 3, Joe Shane is a genius with the Daniel Jones contract. Number 4, you only like certain quarterbacks because they're black and you want more subscribers. Number 5, Daniel Jones has no O-line, no wide receivers. Let's give the kid one more chance in year 7. Number 6, look, we have neon lights in the draft room. Number 7, Tim, you said Joe Milton's going to be a top 5 quarterback. Number 8, every Chat Sports makes them video and then them stealing money from children. Number 9, 2025, we're gonna have 175 million in cap space. Number 10, running laps is cool. And bonus number 11, of things that pissed him off, Mario's golf buddy said the Giants won't draft a quarterback in 2024. I love it. Evil Tim charges super chats. Take a shot for a super chat. Only if it could be a fireball. Isn't it funny sometimes when the adults hit the room? Oh my God. Have you have the best show on YouTube. Well, I wouldn't deny it if I would only correct you if you were wrong. I think we have the weirdest channel on YouTube. Blazin says, but thank you. I appreciate that. I believe in the W's. We need to double dip on the wide receivers. I'm telling you, I've said it before. This is what you do. If you don't want to get Russell Wilson, go out and get the neighbors, trade back in the first round, pick up Penix. Did a whole video of it. Boom. We're done. I love how people say that, but sub to people who won't read chats unless it's a super chat. Yeah, I know, Zach. It's funny. Michael, you started too early. I'm at work. Well, I'm going to end now too, because like Zach says, I'm 17 minutes away from throwing the thing, and I got to get my kid at 2:00. So I got to go. I got to go pick him up as well, and I got to feed the dog. Evidently, I forgot to feed the puppy. He had some stomach issues last night, so I'm trying to like space out his feedings. I'm glad everyone just likes hearing everything about my life. This is my protein shake for this wonderful diet. What's up, Tim? Happy Extension Day. Tanner deactivated his Twitter account. Are we talking about that, Mr. McCormick? I think that is awesome. And like I tell people, if you are on Twitter, online Big Blue 1, and you're doing this stuff, tag me on it, because I think it's freaking hilarious. I think it's just so awesome that the chickens came home to roost. To protect says, damn, I missed. You did, man. But I'm going to forgive you because I love you. Blazing says, Tim, I live vicariously through you. I appreciate that. Trust me, it ain't easy being me. I love it because Dom, the Dahmer.
Draft, baby. Yeah.
Always has nicknames. He doesn't have like people's names in his cell phone. He has nicknames. I'm going to leave. Now, I'm going to leave. But can anyone guess? And I think we said it on the stream. Can anyone guess what my nickname is in Dom's cell phone? There should be a prize associated with this, but I don't think I have any prizes. I don't have any prizes. You get bragging rights. I'm going to be on for one more minute. What is the name? What is the name, my nickname in the Dom's
draft, baby? Yeah.
Cell phone? And while you're doing it, hit the like button. I really do have to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you. The nickname that Dom has for me in his cell phone is Mr. Ego. He told me this the other day. I'm like, well, that's kind of apropos. It's like, good job. It's like, good job, Dom. It's like, good Giants do sure. I like that Tiny Tim. Big, tall motherfucker. That's my wallet. I thought that was great, Dom. And I love it because, everyone knows a Dahmer, but literally this is where, do I have it? This is my favorite picture. That's the Dahmer at my house, all the way from the UK, wearing a game-worn Giant jersey, my shoulder pads from college, and a Phil Simms full-size autograph helmet. And of course, yes, this is how small Dom really is. That's Big L Gigante, and that's LJ. And Dom is literally standing. He looks short now, but there's a rail that's about 6 inches off the ground that he is standing on. I love the Dahmer. I really did. And I love it because we were at the stadium. I was talking to someone, and they went, is it take your son to the game day from Dom? You gotta love Dom. He puts up with so much crap from me, and that's why I love him. That's why he's my brother. That's why I love him. Best Tim Barker, Tim's house in the middle of Lancaster County. I don't live in Lancaster. That really is in the middle of nowhere. Tim, how many games did Jalen Jones get decapitated by the defensive line play Brian Bones? I'm going to give it to game 2. Oh my God, he's so medium. He's very small. All right, guys. Oh, wait, here we go. Stanley says, hey, Tim, you got Tanner deactivate his Twitter account. You got Fist Vegas to quit too. I don't know how you have that kind of effect. I love it because people are sending me this shit. And I'm like, why are you sending it to me? I didn't do anything. It's like, I didn't do it. Stop tagging me on it. I give credit to the people that created those videos. That's awesome. All right, guys. Timothy, forget about it. We appreciate you dropping by. You know what? This was a fun 12 o'clock stream. Maybe we'll do a couple more of these. Maybe we'll start one on Monday because it's illegal tampering day. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Don't forget to like. I appreciate everyone. Don't forget to subscribe. And you know what? We'll see you on Sunday, guys. Peace.